have a question for you, and I think it's important when we talk about at this point in the album at this song, because this is probably the one song where I like Ricky's background vocals on this song.
Mm-hmm.
I think he stands out on this particular song, but overall on the full album, I just want to. I feel like Ricky is a little exposed on this album. Because I mean, BBD, he's the vocalist. He's meant to be the guy out front.
Right.
But on this project, when you're putting him next to Johnny and Bobby and even Ralph, there's something about Ricky that I don't know. He's a little nasally. He's a little. I don't know. There's some. Or I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't know if they're auto tuning his voice. And there's something about his voice. It just sounds a little off. I don't know. I can't really describe it. But to me, I don't feel like he stands out vocally compared to the other, true powerhouses that are on this album. But I mean, and I like Ricky, but I'm just saying, my personal opinion, I feel like he got a little exposed on this when you're up against the other guys in the group who are, to me, are slightly significantly more talented than him in terms of especially Johnny. But that's just my opinion. But I don't know what y'all think.
Well, I was gonna say this. I agree with that. Like, I do agree, because I mean, Ricky has always been that type of singer to me. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's always been consistent for him. You're not getting anything more or anything less when it comes to Ricky and how he sings. So to me, I got the Ricky that I was like, okay, cool. To me, the one that got the least shine on this album to me is Ralph. That's how I felt. I felt like Ralph is normally the lead singer of the group, and he's the one that you're going to focus on all the time, right? Because even the guys say that. Ralph is the focus. You focus on Ralph. To me, Bobby, Johnny, even the Ricky, like all of them shine. It was like you needed Ralph because Ralph likes stacking in the backgrounds to me. Mm-hmm. But I think literally Ralph a lot of times was like, to me, I was just like, oh, all right, Ralph there. Okay, cool. But the other guys are showing their asses to me. So I'm glad that you brought that in, because that's how, I felt that Ralph kind of got like, all right, Ralph gonna do Ralph, but everybody really doing them.
That's interesting. I mean? That's interesting.
But New Edition is a unique act where, yes, plenty of groups break up or take a break and people do projects, but it's always one person's project that outshines the rest. That's just what it is, right? Yeah. But New Edition is unique because they all blew up in a major way, multi-platinum success, all of them, right? Right. So you essentially have this group coming back together, a group full of lead singers.
So how much of that do you think has to do with the fact that their individual projects that came up before this, all did? I mean, I'm not saying Ralph's album didn't do well, but at this point, Bobby's reaching like almost MJ status. Bobby alone. I mean, like, you think about like when they did the miniseries, because Biv talks about this in the documentary. Like, they wanted it to be Bobby's movie. Like Bobby was so big that when they wanted to do the New Edition biopic, the producers were like, well, we'd rather do the Bobby Brown movie because he was at the level where he was pre-Usher, pre-Chris Brown. It was Bobby. Like, he was that guy. To where he kind of transcended New Edition in a way where he was the Michael Jackson. He was the guy who broke out and achieved solo success that no one else in the group really, met in terms of the album sales and the tours and all that. But Bobby was that guy. So I feel like, Johnny's album is immaculate. BBD, Poison, Doomy, all that was everywhere. All those guys had realized tremendous success, arguably bigger than they did, pre Heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? So when you get to this album, it almost feels like, and again, I don't know if Ralph would say this, and I don't know if it was the producers or him, but he does kind of take a back role. I agree with you on that because, and he's kind of selfless to a fault because he allows the other guys to go out and shine, and I know like even, when Johnny came into the group. They were all worried that Ralph was the guy that was going to leave. You know what I mean? But and then the day he ended up doing that album, and then Johnny came in and it worked. And they were actually competing against Bobby at that time. And I never really feel like Ralph, ever really achieved the solo success of any of them. So I don't know if that contributed to when this album got put together, they kind of gave him a lesser role.
People act like Ralph went gold.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm picking up everything you put down.
Yeah.
Like he went out there and ain't do shit.
Right.
That won't the case. It won't like he won't helping out on some other people's project and things.
Fair. Yeah.
See, that's just it. That's not a secret. So
yeah.
So, I get it.
You might.
But yeah, I think we give Ralph. I think we give it a little too much.
You know what I also feel like too, and giving Ralph more. Ralph is like, okay, y'all did y'all solo stuff, but when it comes to New Edition, who's it?
Right.
Me. And Ralph even said this when in the documentary when he was talking to Johnny and they were sitting in the studio, and Johnny was like, "Where's everybody at?" He said, "Where they always be. They at the mall. They doing this. I'm in the studio doing backgrounds and all this." But Ralph probably was like, "Okay, y'all do everything. I normally did everything in the group to begin with.
Exactly.
I'm doing the backgrounds. I'm doing this. Y'all coming in doing your woo, wah, wah, wah. But I'm doing a lot more than y'all.
Mm-hmm.
This album, go ahead for it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be in the background of y'all." Right. You know what I mean? Now y'all going to see it ain't easy being the lead of a lot of these songs because a lot of them you got more. You know what I mean? So again, I sit back and be like, damn, Ralph really kind of played the back. But then once you said that, I'm like, but wait a minute. Ralph is like, I do all the work in New Edition more than y'all. Mm-hmm. So now y'all do it. You know what I mean? But everybody still know when it comes to New Edition, who's the lead singer? Ralph. So at the end of the day, this is us. We're back 6 of us, but who's the focus? Ralph. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of like a seesaw for real. It's like, okay, you played the back, but he's the lead singer New Edition.
Right.
He's the star New Edition. You're like, you know what I mean? So it's good.
Yeah. It's good. And honestly, like I said at the beginning of the show, I wasn't excited for the album. I was excited for the reunion and for the tour. I wasn't excited for the album because I was like, how is all this lead singer energy going to work coming back?
It didn't.
No, I mean, it's for the album.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
No, it did. The part I was excited about, that's the part that didn't work.
Right. right.